Assalamu alaikum, Elena here, the Muslim travel girl. With everything going on around the world and the fact that we cannot travel because it's vital we keep safe, I thought, why not create a series of all the places I would love to visit once this pandemic is over and we can travel? So here we are. Welcome to your Muslim-friendly version of Wanderlust Wednesday, where every Wednesday we'll interview another awesome Muslim traveler about their experiences in a city around the world. Some of the people we're meeting are either living in the city or have visited as Muslim travelers. So hopefully we'll get a lot of insider tips as well. We will ask them all the vital questions on how Muslim-friendly the city is, if they found difficulty finding halal food or mosques to pray, and of course, other things such as transportation, local tips that I'm sure you want to know before you visit a city. The questions are pretty standard each week, and you will find them in the description below, so hopefully you can follow easier this way. In this series, my hope is to inspire you to visit a new place once we can travel again and enjoy them equipped with new information. So I'm so excited to introduce this series to you, and without further ado, let's get started. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you very much for coming on another episode of Discovering Local Tips from local people. Today, we're talking to Inaya Shujaat, a creative, a blogger, a crafter, and many more things. I'm so happy to have her because with her, we are going to discuss the best that Disneyworld has to offer for Muslim travelers. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you
How
today?
are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm looking forward to learning everything about Disney World and how Muslim friendly is Disney World.
It is very Muslim friendly, actually. I would say that Disney World is the best place in Florida because it's not like the rest of Florida. Many people have probably heard about Florida, especially in recent years. Marco Rubio, for example, and a few others, the former governor. But Disney World, mashallah, is very Muslim friendly. They may not have technically dedicated prayer spaces because it's in America, so they don't do that. But my husband and I have prayed all over those parks and never had any problems.
That's good to know because one of the things that you as a Muslim always do is find the space that is less likely for somebody to tap you on the back and then you just pray. So that's good to know. So would you say that as a Muslim traveler, you kind of like feel comfortable in your hijab and like, obviously praying is fine, but hijab, long dresses, are they the type of thing that is okay for Disney World?
Yes. You will see a lot of Muslims there, which is kind of nice because, again, in Florida, you maybe don't see so many Muslims. You go to Disney World and all of a sudden it's like, oh, assalamu alaikum. You're seeing all people. So I have worn a baya a couple of times to Disney World, and that was fine. No problem. It's also a little bit more comfortable in Florida weather, such high humidity. But there are no issues with Muslim dress. Just make sure your hijab is tucked in. So, you're on a roller coaster.
Good point. Good point. I'll probably be one of those that's like, oh my God. So, I understand it's Muslim friendly. Who doesn't like Mickey Mouse and princesses and all these stuff, right? But would you say you can find halal food, or how does it work? Can you bring your own food in, or if they don't have halal, or do they have halal, and how easily available it is? Because I know it's quite a large space, right?
So they will let you bring in food for children because we would bring in snacks and things like that. They're not going to let you bring in like a cooler, an ice box of food. They do not offer halal. I have heard that a couple of the higher end resort hotels in Disney World, so they're owned and operated by Disney World, they're on Disney World land, that they are serving halal steaks. There are a couple of beef providers like Creekstone Farms, for example. Their beef is halal slaughtered and that is sold in the higher end steakhouses. But when you're in the parks themselves, there's no technically halal option. There are vegetarian options and there are kosher options for people who will also eat kosher. Yeah. I don't recommend the kosher because it's kind of like it was frozen and brought in and it looks disgusting. Just stick to the vegetarian. They have lots of wonderful vegetarian and fish options. They do.
Oh, fantastic.
We never had a problem finding something to eat there.
Okay, so that's good. So from a person who's been many times, how many days would you recommend that it's good to go and kind of stay in Disney so you can make the most of it?
So sometimes a lot of people think that they have to be there for a week, 2 weeks. We've heard of people who've been there for a month. And
Whoa.
to me, that's a little overkill. The Disney parks, you could probably see them all and do everything that you want to do in probably 4 days at the most.
Yeah.
Do a park a day, just spend your day dedicated to that park. They're not as overwhelming as people think they are. If you've ever watched anything on the Travel Channel about Disney World and they talk about the hardcore Disney people, I've been here 30 times and this is what I do. I enter the park and I go to the right or I go to the left or I take the train. I start with the back. It's very easy. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Maybe 4 days tops, I think. And then you as a parent, you're going to be like, okay, I've had enough. I've spent all the money I've earned in the last 3 years. It's time to go home.
We're going to talk about that in a bit. So would you say, I mean, obviously they're family friendly, but in terms of how would you go with a baby or a toddler? Because obviously if you have older children, they're kind of like easier to manage and they can stay longer and obviously enjoy the whole day. What about people with younger children? Like, for example, I have a daughter that's 18 months. She still sleeps, etc. So how would you say they're family friendly in that sense?
So our son, who's going to turn 10 in less than a month, inshallah, he started going to Disney World when he was only a couple of months old. Wow. He's Disney. But again, that's the advantage of being a Florida resident. So it's very family friendly. There are lots of things to do that are not rides. And that's one thing I like about Disney World. It's not like, so we've got some theme parks here in America, like Six Flags, which is just heavy rides, roller coasters, thrill seeking, the things that make you feel like you're going to have a heart attack. And I'm not so much a big fan of. So Disney World has shows you can go to, indoor areas where you can sit down, get some air conditioning, cool off. Yeah. Because again, the humidity is very high. Yeah. So it is very family friendly for children of all ages and people of all thrill levels.
Oh, that's good.
Even families with young children do not feel intimidated. Bring them. They won't remember it, but you will.
I'm so glad to hear that actually it's family friendly for all ages. Would you say it's safe for families? Because obviously I know that there are different parks and there are different areas, and I've heard of people getting lost and children getting lost and, possessions getting lost. So do you think it's safe in terms of, safety, in general safety?
I would say that Disney World, yes, it's basically just use your common sense, keep your kids with you. When our kids started walking, we had those cool little backpacks on them with leashes like they were little dogs. Yeah. The kid ran, come back here. Because, of course, with the toddler, you turn around and poof, she's gone. Yeah. Disney World is fairly safe. They have employees are called cast members. Mm-hmm. And if cast member sees a child who is distressed, they're crying, there's no grown-up with them, they have areas in the parks where they take them. Okay. And parents know that if they lose their child, they need to go to that area. It's like any other place, traveling to a city, just keep an eye on your kids, your possessions.
Common sense, yeah. Which
common sense, yes.
Obviously, yeah, it makes sense as a traveler. It's just in case, people are wondering. How about hotels? Where do you stay when you go? Do you take the hotels that are a little bit outside, or do you take the hotels that are in the resort? Which one would you say is better for a novice who hasn't been before and, who just wants to get the most experience out of it?
I would say inside the resort, the Disney World Resort hotels. They have hotels at every price point. Okay. Our personal favorites are the all-star resorts, and they're about $100 to $170 a night. Okay. Which is considered good. Yeah. But if you're a person who wants to be pampered and treated like a princess, they've got hotels that if you want, you can spend $400 a night. I mean, it's up to you. But they all offer the same transportation to the parks. And that's the great thing when you stay at the resort hotels. There are buses that come to the hotel and they pick you up, and the buses will say on which parks they go to. Yeah. So you get on, if you want to go to Epcot, you get on that bus, it takes you to Epcot. And then again, it brings you back to the hotel. That's all included in the price.
No, that's good because it makes it a lot easier. Because my next thing was gonna be, I've been to Miami from Florida, not the whole state of Florida, but obviously I know it's very popular to rent a car and drive, and it's pretty safe. I mean, I've rented cars in the US. So yeah, I was gonna ask methods of transportation, obviously outside the resort, but I assume you suggested the buses for the resort. Would you say renting a car or any other means of transportation for getting there?
One of the great things that Disney World offers, again, if you stay in the resort, when you fly into the Orlando airport, which is, I think, one of the nicest and friendliest airports I've ever been to. Everything is just like, it's just nice. They're used to dealing with a lot of people and from a lot of different countries.
Yes.
So Orlando airport is nice. So if you stay in a Disney resort, they pick you up.
Oh.
They get your baggage, they load it on a bus. There are these huge buses and they take you to the park.
Okay.
And so you give them your flight information.
Yeah. Yeah.
They pick you up. And then when you're ready to go home, they take you back to the airport. So they take care of all of that. Now, if you do get a craving for meat, you want to eat some meat, there are halal restaurants outside the park. So the last time we were there was 5 years ago, and there were quite a number of halal restaurants. There's actually a large Moroccan community in Orlando.
Yes.
Which is kind of a fun fact. And so you'll find a lot of halal places.
Yeah.
But so for that purpose, you would have to have a car.
Okay.
Although I don't know, maybe Uber delivers now.
Yeah, probably Uber delivers now, or they can just
probably.
For me, it's every place I have been to, every country, every city, they've always been Muslims. So I don't, even the smallest European cities that you would think like you're the only Muslim, like no, there are more. There's a halal butcher there. So I actually have an article about Florida and Orlando halal restaurants. So yeah, there are many, I'm sure.
Yes.
What would you say are your best tips for somebody visiting as an expert? Because you've been so many times, mashallah. Like, what are your tips on, what should we pay attention to? What we should be mindful of? Any tips on booking? Because I know prices are high. When should you go, etc.
So this is actually the time of the year to go. In January through March.
Okay.
They're always running specials. So book through Disney World's website. Don't book through some third party, because if you do a search for Disney World resort, vacations, whatever, they'll be coming up all sorts of things saying, oh, we can get you the best bargain. We can. Yeah. Not really, because they're most likely not even legitimate tickets. So book through Disney World. They have their own website. Book through that. Check the specials. They usually put it up really big. These are our offers, because they want people to come, and they know if you can save money, you're going to come. So look for the deals. So January through March are the best time to go. Weather is beautiful in Florida this time of the year. Low humidity, just absolutely gorgeous. There's also fewer people in the parks this time of the year because everybody goes in summer. Yeah. When the kids are on vacation. So this is the best time of the year to go. Yeah. So that's when we would try to go in winter and spring, leading up to spring break, which happens April or so, because then you get more and more people.
Yeah, makes sense.
So this is the best time of the year to go because they've got a lot of discounts. I would say that one of the main mistakes that people make is they want to try to get into the nicer hotels, but then you ended up spending all your money there. Also, the food choices are not that good, especially for people like us who can't eat the everything they're serving. Stay in the value resorts, like I was mentioning, the all-star resorts. Yeah. Like that's the best thing. You get more bang for your buck. The less money you have to spend on your accommodations, more money your kids get to spend on souvenirs.
What would you say is the cost then for 4 days, including your tickets? Because obviously you said they have specials, you can book. Mm-hmm. And what would you say is the cost? So how much do you have to plan to save up? Sell a kidney or?
Your airfare, if you're flying internationally, your airfare is probably going to be your biggest. So then the cost of accommodations and park, if you stay in a value resort, you're probably looking at about $3,000, because we did for 1 week. So maybe about $3,000 for park and hotel. That's the budget, the value resorts.
Wow.
Food can cost, because it's Disney World, so you're paying like convenience store fees.
Yeah. Okay.
Every time you open your wallet, expect $50 to fly out.
Yeah.
So I would say a family of 4, they should probably budget easily $5,000 to $6,000. All incidentals are covered. If God forbid somebody were to get hurt or something, I would say that. And then of course you've got your airfare or whatever mode of transportation.
Makes sense. I mean, for a lot of people, this will be kind of once in so many years, or once in a lifetime. So I guess you know, $5,000-$6,000
Yes.
for making sure your kids are having fun for a week and you're enjoying the sun, running after them is, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, it's not too bad. Okay. Probably expected a little bit higher, I guess, if you go to the high-end resorts. It was like
Yeah, if you go to the high end.
I guess paying for a hotel that you're not actually gonna stay in. I understand paying $400 and going to the Maldives or something, or you know, somewhere else where you will enjoy the hotel facilities.
Yes.
But you're gonna be at the Disney World all this time. So why just for a bed at night?
Yeah, you're just sleeping there basically is all.
Exactly. So makes sense.
And all their hotels are clean and comfortable.
As a last question, do you have any tips that we should be mindful of? Anything else you would like to share with us?
I would just say that if you can do it, do it. I think Disney is a trip that, well, I'm sure some people might regret it, but I don't think most people would regret going to Disney World. It's like, if you can, at least just do it once. It's like I've told friends, like, I don't know if you're aware, but a lot of Americans don't travel internationally. Like, we don't even have passports until we have to travel internationally. So the first time I ever traveled internationally, I came back and I told all my friends, everyone, I'm like, please come on. If you can, you have to do it. Well, the same thing is true for Disney World. If you can, you have to do it at least just once. It is worthwhile. It really is. And Disney is always coming up with new and exciting things. They've actually got a new hotel that they're going to be opening soon that is like a spaceship from Star Wars.
Okay.
And you go there like you're on a cruise. You go there and you stay for, I think it's 4 days, 3 nights, or other way around, 4 nights, 3 days. Anyways, and you have port calls where you get to leave the resort on a special transport to go to their Galaxy's Edge, which is their Star Wars. So this is something that should be opening within the next year, inshallah. So Disney, they are innovators.
Yes.
And it's just amazing.
Yes.
So yes, you can go, and then maybe several years down the road, go again, and it won't feel like been there, done that.
Yeah, that's
a very wonderful thing.
Yes, that's a very good point. There indeed, because there are a lot of marketing projects and research on how they innovate all the time. So that's a very good point. I mean, even if I take her now and I go in 5 years, she'll be different. So, you know,
it will.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all your tips. I really enjoyed our talk and our conversation. Guys, make sure that you check her website. I will leave all the links below. Make sure you like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you liked it. If you don't like it, please subscribe. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's so nice talking to you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.